Hi guys, how's it going? So, getting on to leadership. It's very cold here, so as much as I would love to completely stay in my rubber and nothing else, uh, I'm taking a leaf out of my own book and looking after my health. So I'm gonna put a fluffy on. Just bear with me for a second. Oh. Right. Now, leadership. Cold here. It was like 7 degrees this morning. So, leadership. There's many definitions of leadership and a lot of what people would call definitions, but I would call qualities, things such as, no man's left behind, a leader is, blah, blah, blah. And realistically, a leader is just someone who leads a group of people. That doesn't mean that they're a good leader, because basically anyone can lead, so to speak. Lemmings can lead. And I'll let you think about that. Lemmings can lead other lemmings to a cliff, to, you know. But for humans, I've had sort of discussions about this a lot, particularly in this current climate where people are saying, such and such is a bad leader, a good leader. I'm going, well, what's constituting a good or bad leader for you? I mean, for a lot of people, don't understand quite that being a leader of a small group with a particular purpose, say like leading someone on a walk, is the qualities would be entirely different from, well, not entirely, but there are some qualities that you need to lead a country or a state or a council or a company that will be different from leading a scout group or another interest group. And that doesn't mean to say that the qualities that those other people have are bad or good. It's just that they're required in different ways and different aspects for different purposes. And one thing that came about was one of my own, well, my owner said that basically, there's leaders and there's leaders. You can train or educate a lot of people to lead, but there's very few people that are inherently leaders in their own right. What that means is that basically there's quite a few people that will lead, like, here's where everyone else is going, I'm going to lead you there. And then there's the leaders that go, hey, everyone's going over there, but this here looks like it'll benefit more, I'm going this way. And then when they they may pick up people along the way, and then when they stop and look around, they find that there's a whole lot of people following them. And there's other people over there, but there's a whole lot of people following them, and they didn't ask them to. People just went naturally followed. They weren't berated, they weren't shamed, they weren't humiliated into doing this. They went of their own accord and went, no, I like that. That's a good idea. I'm going to go with that. But the other thing is that it was also pointed out that good leaders, if there are people that don't agree with you, you don't shut them down, you don't, cancel them, you don't do this. You just sort of have a regional talk, and if they don't like it, that's fine. They're free to leave if they want. But those are also different qualities from, say, like a country or a state where it's basically, no, you doing that, that's going to be bad for you, but not just you, but for everybody, because a person that leads a country or a state, they will have to drag people kicking and screaming into a better place, whether they want to or not. People get up in arms about it, and I'm like, well, here's the thing, you always get people that will want to fight against the system or whatever is going on just because. And some good leaders will say, look, you know what, I lead for everybody, not just for the people who like me, not just for the people who vote for me, not just for those constituents, not just for the people that I like or that will get me, you know, fame, glory, position, whatever. Basically, that leader will lead everybody. They will lead the whole country, the whole company, the whole state, the whole group, whatever. And it's something that a lot of people don't understand, is that a leader, in my view, will do a lot of things that a lot of people may not agree with, or some things that they partially agree with, but disagree on certain things. That's when you actually talk to a leader and sort of talk to them and find out why that they did a certain thing, whether you agree with it or not. And there's plenty of reasons in place where I've like talked to people about, you know, hey, have you thought about this? And I don't quite agree with that. Can you explain to me why you've come up with that decision? And I go, okay, well, fair enough. That might not benefit me, but I can see on the whole it benefits everybody else, you know? And that's where we come down to it. Leaders don't have to be popular, like as in, I like you popular, I think you're great popular. Leaders, to me, they do the job when no one else wants it. They'll do the job even though someone else wants it. But that someone else might want it to do it for not so good reasons, such as, oh, it looks easy. They'll try and pick up and do the job after this other leader who's done it when no one else wanted to do it, fixes everything. Then these people come along and says, no, I want to be leader now, because they want to be leader of something that doesn't require effort, other than for them to just be there and just go, I am an authority and that's it. The problem I think we have now is that we have a lot of leaders who, they have advisors. That doesn't mean that they have to take advice. This is what a lot of people also don't understand, is that people who lead, people who make decisions, just because you provide advice doesn't mean they're going to take it. It means you're providing information for them to be able to make a decision, and perhaps they know something that you don't. Perhaps they have a different scope, because the information you provided might be narrowed to your specific area, whereas they have a general broader picture that they talk to other leaders and, you know, heads of states, ministers, whatever, about. So this whole thing where people go, oh, their advisors say this, but they're doing that. Why are they doing that? And I'm like, well, maybe that's one advisor in one particular department, but have you considered that they've also got other advisors, such as, I mean, you know, countries and states have health advisors, economic advisors, business advisors, environmental advisors, all this sort of stuff. They can't just take the advice of one advisor in one particular area and just go with that for everything, because they have to consider the whole picture and the whole future, not just in the next election year, but multiple successions and years to come. Like it's like a legacy thing. That may or may not make people popular. And I find a lot of irony in a lot of things that are going on around these days. But yeah, these qualities of leadership, I mean, there's plenty of good and great leaders that have been in the past, and I like to read a lot about them. And as much as people hate people like Adolf Hitler, he was a great orator, and I think he was like a leader in his own right. But as with anything, you know, history. But there are other leaders like Mahatma Gandhi. He was, you know, a lot of people consider him a really great leader. He also was quite a brutal person. If you actually read up on his history, quite a brutal person. He went into pacifism a whole lot later in life. And there's quite a few instances of that. So I mean, there's never one side of the story. There's always a few, and yes, they're human. The leaders are human. They make mistakes like everybody else. They do the best that they can with what they're given and the information that they've got. The fact that there's people that will provide them either wrong, erroneous, or limited scope information means that they also need to take into account other information that comes into a head. Now, leadership on a grand scale is different from leadership on a small scale. Leadership on a small scale can be put down to anything as small as, say your dominant submissive relationship where there is a leader and a follower in the very basic sense, on one-on-one, like actual dynamics. This doesn't mean that the leadership will chop and change, but the default leadership will, like in general, be the dominant. As I've said before many times, sometimes a submissive will take lead on things. Not just when the dominant is indisposed, but it could also be because the dominant recognizes that person's particular skill and ability and will let them take lead on a particular issue because they're the best person for the job. And that's the thing, leaders will step down and allow the best person for the job to do that. Sometimes they allow the worst person for the job to do that because it's, well, sometimes you need to get the absolute worst leader to really appreciate better leaders or the other people or what you had before. Can I give examples? I don't know. Many people have examples in their own life, public life, whatever. But anyway, I think that's enough ranting for a Friday. It's due to be pretty cold here, single digits where I am, so it's good for getting into the rubber and snuggling. Getting rubber snuggles. That's awesome. Anywho, I think that's pretty much it for today. Just my little spiel on, some things that are going on and my thoughts on the general leadership angle. I think I've done some talks on this previously, but I'm not sure. But there's always new information that comes in about leaders and what they do. You don't have to like your leader. You just have to know that they're consistent and what they stand for and that they're going to do what they say. That they're going to fulfill their promises to not only the people that like them or vote for them, but they're going to fulfill the promise to make the world better. And that's pretty much it. I don't have to like them on a personal level, but if they get the job done, it's not something that I've stepped up to do. At least on a larger scale, as in like country and state. Okay, I'll catch you guys later. I hope you have a fun weekend because it's Friday. I'll probably do something a little bit different next Friday because I may be traveling. So I don't know what that'll be about. I'll see. I'll see what's going on. Okay? Catch you later. Bye.